In a small, snow-covered town, there was a man named Thomas who owned a bustling toy shop. His shelves were filled with every toy imaginable, from wooden soldiers to delicate porcelain dolls. But despite the laughter and joy that surrounded his shop each day, Thomas was known for being stern and cold. He kept to himself, rarely smiled, and never joined in the holiday festivities that the town cherished so much. Thomas had once loved Christmas, but loss and hardship had hardened his heart. He spent each holiday alone, counting coins and muttering about the frivolity of it all. The warmth of the season felt like a cruel reminder of what he no longer had. One stormy Christmas Eve, as Thomas locked up his shop and trudged home, he noticed an old, flickering lantern by the edge of the street. It was covered in snow and forgotten by its owner. He bent down to pick it up, and as he did, a sudden gust of wind extinguished its flame. In the eerie silence that followed, "Puppies," Thomas heard the faintest whisper, "Tonight, you will see what you have forgotten." Startled, Thomas hurried home, the broken lantern still in hand. As midnight struck, the room filled with a soft, ethereal glow, and before him stood the ghostly figure of an old friend, William, his former business partner who had passed away years ago. "Thomas?" William's voice echoed, filled with sadness. "I have come to warn you. You have lost more than warmth. You have lost your heart. 3 spirits will visit you tonight. Learn from them, or your fate will be lonelier than mine." Before Thomas could speak, William vanished, leaving the room colder than before. Moments later, the first spirit appeared, a young girl with a crown of holly and eyes full of light. She took Thomas's hand and whisked him back in time to a Christmas from his childhood. He saw himself, wide-eyed and laughing, surrounded by family and friends. The air was filled with music, warmth, and the scent of cinnamon. Tears stung Thomas's eyes. He remembered the joy that had once filled his heart, now buried under years of loss and isolation. But before he could linger, the girl released his hand, and darkness enveloped him once more. The second spirit, cloaked in red and gold, appeared next. He showed Thomas the present, the bustling town square, where families gathered to sing carols and exchange gifts. Thomas noticed a small, poor family standing outside his shop, their eyes shining with hope as they admired the toys through the frosted window. Despite their worn clothes and empty pockets, they radiated joy, their love for each other enough to keep them warm. Finally, the third spirit emerged, shrouded in shadow, silent and foreboding. It showed Thomas a lonely, forgotten grave covered in snow. His name was carved into the cold stone, and no one stood nearby to mourn. Desperation clutched at Thomas's heart. "Please," he begged, I can change. Show me how to find the warmth again." The spirit's silence was broken by the distant glow of the lantern Thomas had picked up earlier. As the light grew brighter, Thomas awoke, back in his room, the morning sun streaming through the window. The town was alive with Christmas morning cheer. And for the first time in years, Thomas felt something stir inside him. He dressed quickly and opened his shop, inviting the poor family from the night before inside. He gifted them the toys they had only dreamed of, their smiles lighting up the room like 1,000 lanterns. From that day on, Thomas became known as the man who carried the lantern of hope, a symbol of the light he had found again in his heart. He joined the town's celebrations, shared stories, laughter, and kindness, and every Christmas Eve, he placed the old lantern in the window, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, light could always be found. Sometimes, the greatest gift we can give or receive is the rediscovery of love, warmth, and connection. Even the coldest hearts can find light again if they're willing to look for it. So, ask yourself, what lanterns have you left unlit in your life?